Jet sponsors coverage of the Silverstone Classic.
There's a big celebration going on here at Silverstone this weekend as we mark the 50th anniversary of the legendary Ford Mustang. There are loads of wonderful examples here, either on display to be admired or out on the track fighting it out. There are also Mustangs burning rubber in the streetcar shootouts. You can even find them up in the air.
It was back in 1964 that the first cars rolled off the production line in Detroit and an American idol was born. Its striking looks, not to mention the rumbling V8 engine, made it an instant hit, and the car quickly established itself as an essential part of the American dream. Songs were written about it, like the classic Mustang Sally. It even became a Hollywood star. In the film Bullitt, Steve McQueen tore up the streets of San Francisco in a Mustang fastback just like this one, in what many people consider to be the greatest car chase in movie history. It all helped to create the car's iconic status. Despite it being one of the most famous car names of all time, it's not entirely clear how it came about. Generally, it's accepted that designer John Najar was a big fan of the Mustang P-51 fighter plane and basically stole it. However, Ford marketing man Robert Eggert, a keen horse breeder, also claimed that he suggested the name. Whatever the truth, Mustang sounded perfect for a small, powerful sports car. Well, small by American standards anyway. The car still lives on, and this sixth-generation Mustang is due to hit the streets later this year. Here's to the next 50 years.
Beautiful weather at Silverstone and a beautiful sight as the pre-66 touring cars gets underway. This year, a celebration of the Mustang, but the front row dominated by Ford Falcons. Leo Voizides was on pole in the #1 red and gold Allen Man Racing livery car, but Mike Gardner takes the lead in the first corner. That's the Mercury Comet Cyclone, the blue car of Roger Wills, running off track. Mercury, of course, owned by Ford and a very close cousin indeed of the Falcon. He seems to be on an entirely different map on his sat-nav. Tom Roach, Henry Mann, third and fourth on the grid. Two of just 25 Mustangs in this field. Surely the most Mustangs ever to start a race, certainly in the UK. But it is Mike Gardner with the lead. Leo Voizides started his historic racing career in Mustangs, moved on to the Ford Falcon. He's in second place. But look at the tyres under Mike Gardner's car, the race leader, squealing in protest. Understeer quickly becomes throttle-guided oversteer, power sliding their way around Luffield. What a glorious sight. More power than grip and plenty of bellowing V8 noise as well. So the lead trio starting to break away, and joining this massive field of American muscle, the giant killing minis, Lotus Cortinas as well, of course, which would have been period adversaries in British Saloon Car Championship racing. Replay of the first corner. You see Roger Wills there in the Mercury Comet Cyclone drifting out wide, and then decides not to rejoin the bunched pack, and that's probably a good call. All-British battle for 15th place. How 1960s is this? David Tomlin in the Ford Cortina. The Lotus colours, of course, giving it away as the twin-cam A-frame car. And alongside him, multiple mini-champion Jonathan Lewis in his Cooper S. And they're going around the outside of veteran Mustang racer John Young. The red and gold coloured car, Lewis giving chase. Leaders making their way through backmarker traffic, passing a GT350. Mike Gardner still holding off Leo Voiezaides, but you sense that this battle isn't going to be over anytime soon. It's like synchronized drifting, isn't it? The two of them pitching their cars through the corner in perfect harmony. Red car Henry Mann, Alaman's son in 4th place. On the inside, Mike Whittaker, 46. Around the outside, number 3, ex-Grand Prix ace Jackie Oliver, dialing in the opposite lock as he tries to stay in front of Neil Brown, the engine builder of legend. Also currently active in British touring cars, of course. Neil Brown still builds the engines for the Honda team, and look at that again, lock stops to lock stops as the cars bounce around in front of the Mercury Comet Cyclone of Roger Wills, who is closing on this lead pack, and oil spewing out from Jackie Oliver's car, and he's obviously read the signs, trying to pull off somewhere safe. Leaders will be catching traffic soon. Mike Gardner just holding off Leo Voiezaides still. And these two racing away from the rest of the field, led by Tom Roach in the top Ford Mustang. But it's the Ford Falcons that rule the roost, goodness me, unless they collide there, and they very nearly did, as Mike Gardner lost it in Cops Corner. Well, turns in, gets on the power, desperate to hold the lead all the way to the checker, and finally just asks too much of the overworked rear rubber. It is like trying to stop the battleships, though, and just Leo Voiezaides somehow avoids him in the cloud of smoke. Leo Voiezaides is going to drift his way out of Stowe. Those tyres look seriously on the edge now, though, don't they? Down into the final corners, the checkered flag awaits after a breathtaking battle for victory. It is Voiezaides, the poleman, who comes out on top and wins the Mustang celebration race. There's 3rd place man Tom Roach, and right behind him Henry Mann closing in hand over fist, and he's just going to fall short of getting onto the podium. Well, what a fantastic race, dramatic conclusion, but it's Leo Voiezaides who claims the win. There have been loads of great battles on track at Silverstone this weekend. Let's take a look at some of the other races. In the Peter Arundel Trophy for Formula Junior cars, Sam Wilson claims 2 victories in his Lotus 22. In the Stirling Moss Trophy for Pre-61 sports cars, John Minshaw and Phil Keane stole the show in their wonderful Lister Nobly. There was a huge field of cars for the classic Formula 3 races. Nick Padmore was the class of the field in his 1978 March 783, taking a lights-to-flag victory. The race for under 2-litre touring cars was a thriller. Gordon Shedden started from pole position, but things didn't go according to plan for the modern BTCC racer. He hit mechanical problems and retired. Ahead of all the showboating, the advantage went to Grant Tromans and Dickie Meaden, who claimed the Sir John Whitmore Trophy. It's always difficult to tear yourself away from trackside when there's so much great racing at the Silverstone Classic, but there are plenty of other activities going on that are well worth exploring. Whether you fancy a go on the Dodgems or taking the kids on the bouncy castle, that's up to you. But if relaxing with a drink in the sun is a little more appealing, then why not? There really is something for kids of all ages at the Silverstone Classic.
The classic car auction has become one of the big features of this event over the last few years. So if you've got a cool £200,000 to spare, you could pick yourself up something like this. This is a 1972 Ferrari Dino. Or if that is a little beyond your pocket, how about the lovely little Fiat Abarth here? That'll set you back about £25,000. There is a mouth-watering selection of cars here, including some very tempting lots, like this stunning DB6. The idea of the wind in your hair cruising about in a beautiful E-Type Checker is quite appealing too. But if you want a really serious example of British precision engineering that's even louder than the cars, you could get yourself one of these. Yep, it's a Harrier jump jet. And the price, well, sky's the limit.
Jet sponsors coverage of the Silverstone Classic.